So with that historical background out of the way, let's talk about today's possibilities that mobile payment offers. So we have like in-app micropayments, online purchases, services, and many, many more with different methods so that user experience is easy, fast, and friendly. Kuba, can you maybe tell us a little bit about the different types of mobile payments that exist? What we can pay for?
Sure. Yeah, so basically there are multiple ways of making money on mobile applications. So you can, for example, of course, create a paid application. So it will be like a one-time payment or subscription-based. And this kind of payments are something that application stores are responsible for. So there is nothing to do for us as developers, except the proper setup of our application in App Store or Google Play. The second group that we can specify basically is something called in-app purchases. In gaming industry, we can call it micropayments. So this kind is for payments that are about the application's digital services. So this applies to paywalls, paid modules or features of the app, items in games, the list go on. So if a payment applies to, let's call it digital services, then it lands under this category basically. So payments like this has to be done through the app stores, Google Play or Apple App Store. So on the one hand, it is quite nice because again, it's on the store to process the payment. But on the other hand, you need to be aware of some, for example, fees.
The third, and from what I heard, there are quite a big ones, like 30% cut on your in-app purchases. That's quite a lot, right?
Yeah, exactly. This is not small fee, unfortunately. So there is also this third group of payments. Those are payments for physical services. So this is everything related to paying for material goods or services, not related to the app functionalities itself. So, e-commerce applications, food delivery apps. So this is in this group. And here we have full freedom. So there are no rules from stores. Developers can use payment method of their choice. The only requirement is that it has to be available on mobile, of course. But the main drawback here is the fact that whole payment processing, in this case, is on us, developers or business owners. What's worth mentioning is it's not that easy to draw a line between those last two groups I mentioned.
So you mean digital services and physical goods, physical services?
Yeah, this is not always that obvious to draw this line. So basically, it's not always that easy to understand if it should be done through in-app purchases using those application stores mechanism, or if I, as a developer, can implement my own payments in the application. So because of that, from time to time, we hear about some apps removed from app stores or lawsuits against Apple or Google.
Yeah. When I doing some research for this episode, I talked with some developers from Callstack, saying me that I should really go to Reddit, because on Reddit there are a lot of developers that have a feud with Apple and are angry about their apps being taken out of the App Store for like violating unclear policies, right? So if I have a service, I want my users to pay for the service on site, so I don't have to, on like a website, so I don't have to give an Apple a pay cut. But in my mobile application, I want them to be able to log in, but they have to know from somewhere else that they have to pay for the service somewhere else, because I'm not allowed to specify anywhere in my application that this service is paid, right? Yeah, so that is like that is somehow of a like a gray zone area. So
it's also, I think, kind of worth mentioning that like the gray zone applies to the reviewers as well. Like, as it's hard for developers to decide, is my app providing a physical service or a digital service? The reviewers also don't 100% know. So some apps, let's say two apps provide like a very similar service and a very similar implementation. Like, it may even depend on which reviewer you get and which app review, like, I don't know if it's the first, second, third.
yeah,
that kind of decides like, will your app be approved or not? So it's like, I feel like gray zone is an understatement here.
Okay, yeah. So our suggestion is, if your app is in the App Store and you somehow got through all the policies, don't update it. Like, just leave it there. Be quiet about it. And if it got rejected, like, try to resubmit it with some minor changes, right? So maybe you can find someone more lenient to review your app and allow it.